Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everybody. A good morning. Oh, come on with your work. All right, there it goes. Cool. Yeah, so wish there was a ton to say this morning. Don't really have a whole lot for the time being, but maybe something will change. Maybe today's the day YouTube blows up the YouTube stream, but probably not. So let's see. How long have we now been consistently streaming on the old Tuberooskies? Sure. September 17th. So September, October. That's about 2 months now, so we're making headway. Good morning to the one beautiful soul this morning. Hello, hello. Should just be doing all that in caps, maybe not. What looks better? Morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back. So, today's stream, who knows how it's going to go, but so far, not really finding any penny stocks for the moment. Might be something out there that I'm missing. It might be something. That might be something. Ooh, that is something. But I'm kind of late to that. Granted, it hasn't really had a pullback yet to test support, so it's either got to keep going or it's eventually got to get some weakness and arguably come back down. So I have found one that maybe would be interesting this morning. I'm not going to say anything yet because it's too extended away from support, so I don't want someone chasing that up and getting clapped. So, but I do have something in mind, so I'm going to put that one um, on. Well, I was going to say I'll put that on the back burner, but yeah. Good morning. Good morning, team. You guys are super talkative this morning. It's crazy. You guys come on the stream and then you just basically say nothing. It's like, oh my goodness, these people are so intelligent. They can trade stocks and, watch markets, but they don't know how to use a keyboard. It's kind of one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. Okay. Boom, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da. So it seems like there are some penny stocks moving. The Thinkorswim scanner is not really picking them up, which is fine. That's why I always suggest you gotta look at a biggest gainers list. You don't, I mean, at the end of the day, you really don't actually need a scanner. I mean, then again, I've never been able to create a scanner that actually finds stocks before they blow up. I mean, you're always just kind of tracking momentum stuff. So, you know, so there are a couple things that, I don't know, I'm kind of coming across that might be worth doing something about. Kind of going through making a little list right now. Also, by the way, if any of you guys bought VRA yesterday when we talked about it, essentially got up to 379 after hours. I didn't hold mine through the after hours. I just traded it during the day. But if you did end up holding it throughout the after hour session, I bet essentially well, let's see, I don't know, went up about 37% from when we talked about it yesterday. So not a bad play, which we will cover a little bit in just a sec when it makes sense. Busy, busy stream this morning. So much talk going on. It's like, wow. Alrighty. There's that. All right, pretty much gone through everything I think was important there. Only found, I don't know, maybe couple candidates. When the time comes, we'll see. All right, looking at Bitcoin or moving into Bitcoin now. So Bitcoin obviously bounced yesterday when we said it would probably bounce. Did not quite get up to the long target destination that we have. So we have yet to get that. It just means it's going to be hit at a later point, not this moment, which is fine. But so far, Bitcoin's bouncing exactly where we'd anticipate, either here or it's going to be the next one down. So yesterday we used this level as the market was oversold into support. We get long up, right? Arguably, we're going for this green box up here. Not that we were going for that yesterday. It's just in general, right? When you come into support, we're looking to go there. We didn't go there. Now we're going down. All right. We then double bottom bounced the same support. So essentially oversold, bounce, roll back down, bounce, right? So ultimately, if we end up going below and taking out that low and getting some selling pressure, then we go down to about there. And then that's where we're going to look for the next long, which could then very well take us all the way back up to the target that was never hit anyway. So we're still optimistic on bouncing in this low point area. I'm not as interested in, well, it's not that I'm not interested. It's just, it's kind of one of those things, whether or not this thing's going to form some pattern and rally up like that, or if we're going to go to the next one and then get a support tag. So it's kind of one of those situations where we're not perfectly on a support for a long and so on and so forth. Got a phone call coming in. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm back on here. Was just gonna had a phone call there. So, yeah, we're basically in the same exact boat as we were yesterday. Really, there's hasn't been a big change in the market. So again, it's probably going to be relatively boring here because we're just going to be saying the same thing we did yesterday. The market is still bearish. We're still in a sell move. None of that has changed. Um, yeah, I mean. We don't really have a ton of activity in the penny stock world this morning, but that's to be expected. Whenever the stock market's in a selling operation, liquidity is moving the market, or liquidity is coming out of the market. Therefore, it's not as easy to pump penny stocks. I would say the more correct way of saying that is when liquidity is removing itself from the stock market, it's harder to manipulate stocks up because you don't have that liquidity necessary to drive the prices higher. Not only that, when, for example, the stock market is going down and you have penny stocks underperforming, it then makes the retail crowd a little less or a little more hesitant to buying. So you no longer have that crowd of retail people with bicycle helmets on in their office just willing to buy anything because they've noticed over the past week it's not working. They're just getting dumped on. So, it's just the environment we're in. So we just got to get through the sell signal for however long that may last. And then, generally speaking, you'll start seeing stocks go up. You'll see the stock market go up. You'll see penny stocks have better opportunities of getting multi-day runners or for that matter, pumping up on the day and actually going up versus having like a spike and dropping out. So we're just kind of in a low liquidity environment, if you will. And when you say low liquidity, it's like there's still trillions of dollars moving around, you know what I mean? But when you piece it all together, it's again, this is just what happens, right? Uh, so yeah, I mean, it's literally, it was market's going to go down, and when it's time to go into a buy signal, we're just going to add long 3 times leverage UPRO, and we'll swing the market back up, and make some trades on some penny stocks, and life is going to be good, and everyone's going to be happy, and you're all well fed, and you're still waking up, and you're breathing oxygen. Things are good. Turn off the news; you don't need it. Kind of. So just yep, that's that. So that's pretty much all you guys are going to know for the day. Stream's done. Stream's over. Not more to say. No, I'm kidding. All right, we'll get into the market a little bit. I'm just kind of dial in this puppy. So let's first start with the SPY 30-minute chart. Where is that 50 SMA at? All right, it's all the way up there. So that basically means, as we've already said, stock market is bearish and nobody knows why it's going down. They probably think it's something about AI or government shutdown or whatever, but it's just simply people that control the markets manipulating them down right now, selling off equities. And it's not even really manipulating down. It's just, again, you don't control anything in the market at the end of the day. The system does and the market does. So that being said, market is bearish. If we were to get over $668.97 as it stands right now, then we would go back to a bullish market, but we're not. So yeah, pretty much just do whatever you want to do. If you want to sell the stock market, do that. If you're trying to buy an oversold bounce, do that. Again, like I said, the big play for me is just going to come when we go back to a swing long market, and then we'll just add back long. Right. So whenever that day comes, I don't know. I'll let you know. Oh, yeah. Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. I am kind of considering the stock today. Wait, where is it? Where'd it go? Or is it LZB? I don't know. LZB's kind of got an interesting look to it. It's an earnings play. It's kind of watching that one, kind of waiting on a pullback if it ever comes. So kind of thinking about that. Kind of thinking about the penny stock FRGT, but that's too extended for me to do anything with right now. I'd need it to pull back and go to support. If people want to chase it up and blow it up, be my guess, but it's not my gig. So it's another one I'm watching right now, but it's got to go to support before I'm willing to buy it. Um, yeah, and that is that. Daily charts goes weekly. Mm. Super busy stream this morning. I can't believe nobody has commented once in our chat. We have some really lovely humans in here this morning. Really, really lovely. You guys are probably busy making trillions on the stock market right now. You don't even want to listen. I get it. I get it. Not the making trillions part, but the other part. Every single level you just saw me map off on the chart is basically a counter trend support bounce area within the downtrend. We talked about this yesterday about how the market was trading down into the weekly volume weighted average prices. Generally speaking, when that happens, you're kind of looking for bounces around those areas. So essentially that would be right doink there, right? So that was essentially one of the supports we talked about watching yesterday. Weekly VWAP pretty much was the only support that bounced the market yesterday. So just a lucky guess at the end of the day. But yeah, so again, we'll just see what the market does when it hits a level that makes sense. Maybe we'll take a trade. If not, then again, no big deal. Actually, on that note, I'm gonna go get some coffee. I'm assuming by the time I come back, someone's gonna have said good morning by then, or something of that nature. Okay, I've made it back. No good mornings yet. I must be doing something wrong. Yeah, a little update. I think actually I don't remember. I did it yesterday. Maybe I should do it again. But I think the S&P 500. Let me just double check before I say something stupid. Let's see. All right. So let's see. Hmm. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah. Well, anyways, market's up about 15 to 14% this year. SPY, QQQ's up about 17%. So essentially, if your account is above that, then you're beating the market this year. So if so, thumbs up. Good job to you. But yeah, so market's up about 15% year to date. My smaller Roth account that we pretty much trade on this stream is, I don't know, somewhere over 30 now. I had kind of had a little bit of a loss the other week. I had to battle back from a little bit, so I should still be kind of hovering in that 30 to 34% return on the year. So that's a thumbs up, beating the market by 100% almost, as far as return percentage points go. So that's nice. Yeah, and a lot of it really just came from following the system, right? Just basically being long when the market says long and not being long when the market says short, right? And just not taking on a big loss as the market goes down and just trying to perform on the upside. So hopefully that keeps working well. We'll see. Don't know. There we go. Oh, Steve, good morning. The one person that says something. Hello. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, we've been streaming for 2 months, basically, for the most part, about 2 months since we back on live streaming to YouTube. But yeah, anyways, good morning, guys. Man, I wonder when YouTube's gonna finally show a new face our YouTube channel. It'll be an exciting day. I don't think it's ever gonna actually happen, but one can be hopeful. I mean, YouTube did say you got to get through your 3 to 6 month jail period, so maybe we got to get through 3 months, then maybe 6 months. Who knows? But I don't know. It would be nice to wake up in the morning and someone actually talk to me on our live stream. That'd be good. But if it never happens, I guess that's okay. Just more time for me to play Slither.io on the side. Like I said, guys, I wish I had more to say. I really don't. It's all about just letting the market do what it do and finally triggering levels. Again, I would like to see FRGT do something cool today just because it would be fun to actually have a maybe a penny stock to involve ourselves on for the day. But, it's a little extended. A little extended. Hit 'em with the extendo. Do, 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 do. Mm. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, Steve. Either FRGT is going to have to keep going up, or it's essentially going to pull back to those levels. In the rare chance it doesn't, and find support somewhere else, whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. What you just said. Again, over the 30 minute and over the 4 hours, where all uptrends pretty much start, especially as it relates to penny stocks. Well, 4 hour, it just seems like penny stocks love the 4 hour chart, and I mean it works, fine many different ways, but. That's pretty much it. That's where the market entered an uptrend. So if we have the opportunity to buy as the market is just crossing through, great. Most of the times you don't because that's controlled by algorithms and they just kind of blow it up through. And if you're lucky enough to catch it, then awesome. If not, you got to wait for it to pull back or you just got to take on the risk and hope it keeps going. So right now I don't know, this is doing whatever it's doing. All right, 9:30, market's open. Yay. What about? Mm, 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 mm. What a busy, busy day we have here in the stream. Extended trading hour. Come on, come on. There you go, little guy. Yeah, so we'll just kind of let the market do whatever it wants to do. Eventually, it's probably going to pop up into the top down 30-minute volume weighted average price. So essentially, our rolling resistance counter target for this morning's 30-minute top down VWAPs. Again, we explain this every single day. Pretty much market's going this way in the pre-market. If it wants to continue doing that, it would essentially have to stay below there and stay down. If you start clearing house above, that's where we kind of start to take out that downtrend from the pre-market system. So essentially it's just, down, to put it simply. When I say down, you get the points. The system is a negative right now. That doesn't mean that we're going to see the markets go down instantly. But yeah, you get the point. Same stuff every single day. It never really changes. It's just a repeat. Alrighty, so pretty much, yeah, FRGT not really doing anything special. LZB is doing okay. That was that other stock we talked about. I kind of was keeping my eye on K. Ooh, wait a second. I don't know. I feel like that's too scummy. Hmm. Part of me wants to try KZIA, but it definitely looks a little scummy. I don't know if I have the guts to pull the trigger on that one. It definitely looks a little scummy. I mean, it has support at 742, so essentially KZIA traded down towards support at 740, 737s or whatever. It's kind of getting caught right now. That's the thing is I wasn't really even paying attention to it close enough to be buying into the 750s, just above support around 740s, so I can't involve myself with that. It's just kind of one of those things. If you miss it, you miss it. Ooh, look at FRGT not really doing anything. Cool. LZB's working out though, so I'm happy about that. Yay, LZB. It's gone up. Woo, yippee. Right on, brothers. Right on. So yeah, if FRGT ends up selling off, cool. If not, then again, we're pretty much just not going to do a whole lot with that. Market's moving up kind of as we expect it probably would. Again, you guys already know it's already on the screen. We already mapped it off, right there. I mean, we haven't quite hit it, but you get the point how the market's already trying to kind of backtrack towards that level. It's very common, a lot of times it's pretty much let's just take everyone who is just betting bearish pre-market and screw them over. That's really all it is. It's just markets kind of balancing themselves essentially in a way. So yeah, cheers to that. That's your kind of long pop to start the day. Now, granted, remember, as long as you maintain below, essentially that green box on the screen, then you still have that optimistic, ness that it could do that, right? It's when we start to get over that we kind of maybe change that outlook a bit. Again, this is all has to do with 30-minute volume weighted average price strategy. It's not considering Fibonacci. It's not considering anything else. It's literally just thinking about simple volume weighted average price. Whoa, look at that. The market went to our beautiful squiggly line. Who would have thought? Not me. All right, so your first initial kind of long counter trade idea for the day is complete. Now, granted, we haven't even hit the VWAPs because again, VWAPs do calculate a little bit. As you can see, I keep moving that box up. Now people are like, oh, they repaint. It's like, well, no crap. The volume from the pre-market is significantly less than that comes in at the open. So the volume that comes in at the open will drastically, I don't want to say drastically, but can easily change the stagnant price of a volume weighted average price from the pre-market. Because again, pre-market low volume, regular trading hours high volume, any VWAP that's anchored in the pre-market will be affected more so when regular trading hours opens and you have more volume coming into the market. And again, that should be a no-brainer. But anyway, so yeah, that's that. Good job on your first counter morning long pop. I know it, that's that. Again, what we just showed you is pretty much a repeating system every day. Not that the market always pops up into said level, but you pretty much know, right? If it's not going to go down, it's going right back there, right? So, that's a little bit easier to, for example, like that's easier to get than aiming for a pre-market high. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are like, oh, like we got to break out the pre-market high. It's like, bro, like So you're gonna wait till long for a break of the pre-market high and take none of it as it goes all the way back up, right? So again, that's another one of those concepts that's taught on the internet very widely. Look for the pre-market breakdown, look for the pre-market low breakdown. And again, that's like the worst advice ever. How do I know? Because I've done it, doesn't work, and then I taught it and it doesn't work. So I taught people incorrectly for some period of time when I was younger. So yeah, that's pretty much that, right? So that's a nice long pop there. Right now, you probably got a bunch of retail looking around the market, still trying to figure out what's going to happen, right? And essentially, that's what we needed to happen, move the market to there. And now we'll see if we can basically continue above that and start squeezing out some of the volume that was short from the pre-market. Maybe effectively taking them up towards that pre-market high. Okay, so enjoy, enjoy. I'm gonna delete some of this stuff because I don't really need it anymore. Alrighty, LZB did okay out of the gates. FRGT is not really doing anything. Looks like it's a little too crowded over there on that stock. So if it ends up kind of continuing up, awesome. If not, don't really care. We want it to come all the way down to like 80 cents anyway. So. All right, so you see how the candle is wicking itself right there. So if we look, I mean that would pretty much be a tag of that 30-minute 50 or 30-minute volume weighted average price. So right where that yellow line is at. So that would be a tag. So that's a resistance over under. Currently, the Magnificent Seven are going up, advancing, declining issues down, volume down, tick not really oversold. So that could be adding fuel to the party to keep the long going. Yeah, I mean, realistically, we don't have a bullish market this morning, even with the market popping up out of the gates. The market's not really bullish. Most of the stuff is either flat or down right now. So. I would still view this as just kind of a counter pop into resistance, and there you go. You're starting to see the resistance. So as long as pretty much the Magnificent Seven don't start grinding up, then the market will continue down most likely. So if nothing were to change right now, the likelihood the market goes up is kind of low, if you will. And it's more likely it actually goes down now. Because we did our counter pop up to 30-minute resistance. And while doing that, we haven't really changed the market internals bullish, right? The one thing that we're focused on right now is the Magnificent Seven. So you can pretty much see these have been kind of down like slash flat for like the past 10 minutes or whatever. So it's all up to that. If these kind of higher low and grind up, then we're probably going to see a higher low get picked up here. So that's what we're focusing on is what's going to happen here. So there's your green candle on the Magnificent Seven, major market cap stocks, instant green there. So you can see it's mainly the Magnificent Seven we're focusing on, as it usually is, not all the time, but you can see this morning, everything going down for the most part. Market pops up, pulls back, and now grinding up. So how is it the S&P issues are going down, advancing, declining issues of the stock market are going down, volume of the market's down, but somehow the market's going up because it can easily be manipulated with seven stocks. All right. So nonetheless, that's pretty much that. So you would so today we've completed the first counter long target back up to essentially 30-minute VWAPs, which would be 66248. As they repainted a little higher, we did our first tag rejection scalp short pull back. Now it's about how do the market internals react here to whether we're going to keep the market below and run it back down, or if somehow the Magnificent Seven get manipulated up and we break the market up a little bit. So that's pretty much what we're deciding right now. Granted, I don't really like the way the market looks, so I'm not super gung-ho long here. I'm kind of hesitant on long, and I'd be a little bit optimistic on the short until we get some more clarification on some of these Magnificent Sevens, right? Which right now looks like they're still, excuse me, holding up. All right, so we're not going to see the market drop out yet from this high. It's just there's too much support in the Magnificent Seven. And there you go, green candle shoots right back up. So like I said, there's your tag of the 30-minute VWAP, and now this is where some of those shorts are really nervous. If we start to clear there, we'll probably get a little bit of a pop. You get the point. Enough talking. Just watch. Again, I'm not swing long. Well, it's not true. I actually do have some long UPRO I've been nibbling on as the market goes down, but I don't have a swing long position on. I have kind of the starters, which I'm just nibbling on the lows, bringing the dollar cost average down. And then if we go into a long move, actually, I'll add more. So I do have a little long the market, but it's really just kind of bottom feeding every single low that gets sold into, waiting for the day that we go back into a buy signal, which will happen. It's going to happen. It's just whenever the market's ready. And hopefully I'll be sitting at my computer screen talking to strangers on the internet about it. A market pop upeth. So there you go. So, kind of like right there, I was like, I kind of want to see, like, I still kind of think this is going to roll down, right? Still think it's going to roll down. But, like, thought versus reality can be proved, disproven very quickly, right? So, just like there, I was like, well, we kind of did our first tag. I kind of think it's going to roll, right? And that's because I was looking at some of these Mag 7s, and I'm like, well, it's still got that roll look to it, but you can basically see we ended up creating higher lows and pushing a couple candles green, and that's all it takes. Literally, that's all it takes. Two green candles here, there's your market, straight up, right? So essentially, this is how we manipulate the markets higher by using just a handful of stocks. That's why a lot of people, when they look at market internals, they can get a little confused. It's like, oh, markets are diverging. It's like, well, it's kind of true. I mean, markets can diverge, but you just have to understand that the market can literally be manipulated by like seven stocks. And once you learn that, then it does become a little bit easier to comprehend in that regard. When you're looking at the entire S&P go down and the advancing declining issues of the New York Stock Exchange go down, but somehow the market's still going up, you're like, what? That doesn't make sense. It's like, no, it makes perfect sense. Take a combined ticker and put your biggest market cap stocks on it. If they collectively are going up, 9 times out of 10, your market is, right? It's the days that those are going up and your market's not going up, those are kind of confusing because you're like, whoa, we don't ever see that. We hardly ever see that. That's the divergence that doesn't really make sense, is when the Magnificent Seven are going up, but the stock market's still going down. It's like, okay, clearly there's so much broad selling in the market outside of those tech names that the market's going down. And that can almost be seen as a little bit more serious, is when there's such a broad market sell-off that even the mega caps can't save the market. That's where it's actually a little more concerning. Ah, so there you have it. That's how you look for a counter trend target back to 30-minute VWAP. Then once you take out 30-minute VWAP, you're most likely to squeeze those shorts up towards where the pre-market high. Yay! Job well done. Job well done. I know it's so confusing. You guys wish I was here just throwing a bunch of SMT divergence with fair value gaps and, telling you it's because of the Ukraine war that was supposed to end when Trump got into presidency, which we all knew wasn't going to happen, So, yeah, that's that. Let me check the economic calendar. Haven't looked at it yet, but I have to assume, well, no, I'm not going to assume anything yet because we're still in a sell move, but economic calendar, Google. What is it? A Wednesday. Wednesday, we have housing starts, building permits, blah, 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 blah. None of which I really care about. I mean, yeah, it's good to know, but at the end of the day, the market's always going to do what it wants to do and just move back and forth from volume. And news can be catalysts that you can use just to basically push stuff one direction or the other. So, at the end of the day, you really can't. I mean, there's situations where news actually does. I mean, news really never matters, actually. It really doesn't. It's really just the buying and selling pressures of the market and wanting to take it from inefficiencies back to balance and so on and so forth. And whatever news is going on at the time is just going to be used to move the market to and from said levels. So speaking of, I wonder what the news does say today. I hadn't really looked. Market Watch. Nvidia earnings are just hours away, and the stock market is bracing for a pivotal event. Like, really? Like, how does Market Watch? Who wrote this article, honestly? Can I find that? What was it? Who did that? Who? Oh. Huh. You guys want me to pay to read terrible news? That's a joke. Absolutely. I would never pay $1.25 for that, ever. Because they don't even tell me how that person who wrote the article decided that it's a pivotal something. So I don't know. Can't believe that one. Oh my gosh, guys, the market's going up crazy. Granted, we are in a selling operation still, but you guys know the deal. Actually, we should probably just doing a 30-minute reset. Yeah, if we throw a 30-minute VWAP there, so we're ready to reset that one. Let's try this guy. It won't be that one. What about this guy? So we're gonna go there probably. Let me take a look here. Cool. So arguably we're going up into this too as well. So probably looking right up to there next. That would be somewhat logical, I think. Stocks are little change ahead of Nvidia earnings. Nvidia earnings, stock market, counting on Nvidia, Nvidia. I mean, dude, can we need new talent in the stock market news world. I mean, these people literally just lather themselves up with Diddy's baby oil and just go to town on each other's thoughts. I mean, come on, guys. Let's get more original or whatever. Like it's it's kind of sad, honestly. The reality is like, oh my gosh, just somehow it's all Nvidia, only Nvidia. Has nothing to do with the government shutdown anymore. Somehow, some way, it's just comical. So, anyways, that's that. Um, yeah, not a whole lot more to say there. Probably even look for a reset to the 50 S. I mean, that's it's gonna happen someday. We're gonna reset to the 50 SMA, so it's kind of like you know, to be expected. Again, you can see here if we kind of enlarge this, this is pretty much everything we already talked about, which is what if the Magnificent Seven go up, your stock market's going to go up. Magnificent Seven are going up, stock market's going up. Oh my gosh, so crazy. So crazy, you know. For a second, the news almost had me thinking it was this Nvidia report that was getting us all gassed up. It's not the fact the stock market, mega cap stocks are just getting bought up. It's gotta be the pivotal Nvidia earnings moment. Yeah, that's definitely what's going on here. Actually, we should probably be looking at these highs too, because that was the 30-minute selling algorithm rejection. So this is also a target we're looking for pretty much here. So like this is another long target we have. And when we say it's a long target, it's just again, these things are going to repeat every time we're in a sell signal. So regardless of the sell signal this week or the sell signal next week or the sell signal 3 years from now, it's going to be the same targets every single time. We're just, you know what I mean? It's like when we say, oh, there's a target, it's like, yeah, every single sell signal, I repeat the same exact process. That's it, right? So again, this is not going to make you millions of dollars. If it made me millions of dollars, I would probably be streaming in the Bahamas right now, but I'm not. I'm streaming in my office wearing some PJs. Um, Unshowered this morning, little tired. But yeah, one thing it will do is help you stop being an idiot in the market. Um, you know, so that's a thumbs up. But yeah, so that green box we put on the upside is a target, right? That target would only essentially be achievable if we were to get above said zone where we're at. Just same thing as a 30-minute pre-market VWAP, right? So look at trend is from this high here, market goes down, we take VWAP, we anchor. What happens? We retrace, then we try to lower high roll, doesn't work, or well, we creep higher lows here. If market gets above, then it goes to here, right? So it's like opening one door and going to the next. It's kind of like a motel or whatever. You know how they have the doors that connect the rooms, right? It's like the next room is just right there, right? And you already know what the room probably looks like because it's a motel. It's gonna have a bed, it's gonna have a shower or whatever, right? A little chair or maybe a desk. So you already know what that next room looks like, but you know you can't get to it unless you go through the door, right? So until that door is either unlocked or someone from the other side opens it, you're never going to get there, right? Same story here. Right now, we already know that currently we're in this room down here and we're below the door. If the door opens and the person on the other side accepts it, we're going right into their room, and that's going to be up there, right? And again, it happens every single time. Been doing the same system for, I don't know, 3 years now, specifically, and it works every single time to a degree. There's some nuances, but works every time. Do 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 ba 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 ba. So yeah, I mean you even see here on my notes. Number one, stock market still bearish, right? So we're going up, but my notes say still bearish, right? That's because the market is in a bearish trend still. Have we flipped the markets positive? No. All you're seeing so far is the market is bearish and doing a counter bounce. If we can reclaim 50 SMA, then arguably we can go into an uptrend. Okay, that hasn't happened. So yes, stock market is still in a bearish trend. You're just seeing long bias movement. But also think about that. Here on the notes, it says stock market is still bearish. But yet from the open, we said go long, right? It's a perfect example of how you can have a bearish market, but you yourself and your own bias and psychology for the moment can still be betting up, right? Just because we know it's a bearish market doesn't mean in the short term we have to be bearish, right? We can still look long because we know when things go down, they also have uptrends, right? Or well, let me rephrase that. Things go down and bounce, down and bounce. When they go up and pull back, up and pull back, right? Read the market internals, right? We're on a bearish trend, but on the day, the market internals say long. All right, let's watch long for the immediate until it says to do something else. Moving into the volatility index and institution. Oh gosh, I hate when that happens. Let's bring it all back up. You know, maybe if I wasn't lazy, I would take a second to figure out why it does that. I mean, I know why it does it. It's like you're moving the screen and then all of a sudden it wants to. Actually, I don't know why. I think I know why, but I don't. But yeah, anyways, let's bring back up on our notepad. There we go. I think we're all set. Beautiful. All right, so now we're looking at the old volatility index and VVIX. So pretty much what's going on here is the VVIX is going down and VIX is going down. We're bouncing the market. This bounce on the market isn't significant enough to wait. Is all my platform? This looks like my platform's frozen, but it's not. All right. Yeah, so anyways, the VIX and VVIX have well, actually the more correct way of saying it is the bounce on this market right now isn't strong enough to have, or hasn't gone up enough to have changed the volatility market. Meaning the volatility market's still in an uptrend, right? So we're not going long the market because of bearish breakdowns on VIX and VVIX. But, currently the market is going up. So all I'm getting at is we don't have that kind of signal from the volatility markets that we should just basically, unload our accounts into a long. And when I say unload our accounts into a long, it's more or less the confidence to be buying more aggressively into the market. Again, we're just seeing kind of an oversold bounce. Market's getting pushed up, but we don't have confirmation on the volatility index right now. So this is still just a counter bounce without confirmation of volatility markets or the stock market for that matter. All right. So the day that we get some more confirmation on the VVIX and VIX will be better. We'll be a little bit more optimistic on bouncing and or going long the market, but that hasn't happened yet. Granted, we're probably below a fifth, so that's another thing too, is right now the VIX is at the 15-minute trend, so that's on a 15-minute breakdown level. The wait, that is VIX. Hold on. I gotta change that to VVIX. The whoa, that's kind of impressive. So let me use my brain because I was gonna think that VVIX would have been down more. Hmm. It's actually kind of interesting. So the fact that the VIX is down more than VVIX right now, that tells me that VIX could also be overreacting to the bounce, and those that are hedging volatility are not quite convinced. Because if those that are hedging volatility were really scared of the bounce, then we would assume VVIX would be front running VIX, but it's not. So it tells me that maybe this isn't actually the greatest bounce, but we'll see. When I say the greatest bounce, it means like it could still just get bounced and then sold into, but again, that's kind of looking too far out, if you will. So nonetheless, we do have a 15-minute chart on the VIX, kind of breaking down a bit, still needs a back test, blah, 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 right? So we're basically bouncing the market up, seeking out resistance, unless the VIX and BVIX confirm breakdowns, then we might be looking back long, etc., etc. All right, we are now above that said level we talked about. So if the market was just going to keep rallying in the moment and go up to that next target box we have on the screen, then ultimately what's going to happen is it's going to have to stay above that level. What happens with all breakouts? All breakouts either have to break out and keep going, or break out and pull back, then keep going, or break out, pull back, then fail. So those are your three options. I don't know which one's going to happen, but as long as the VIX is going down and the market is above said level, then we can be optimistic that the market can continue to rally all the way up to shed levels. Busy stream this morning, super talkative people here. I don't think that's ever going to change, to be honest, but maybe one day. Maybe one day, all the people that log on to their computer and watch the stock market will be open to chatting. Oh my gosh, the market's going up. I bet it goes up to those targets we talked about. And if it doesn't, then we already know what. Then it's going to pull back to this one. So these are really your two options in the market. There or there. Oh, dang it. Mm, FRGT still looks like absolute garbage. STEC still hasn't hit the level I would have liked. No. LZB is kind of just chilling now. No big deal. Bitcoin is at 91,600, so not really doing a whole lot in the exact moment, but it's still holding. I mean, sometimes you just got to come in and save the crypto markets from themselves, you know? I mean, honestly, like I said, it's kind of one of those scenarios where I'm just not, I don't know if I'm sold that this is going to continue to bounce off this low if we're going to get the next one. So I'm not doing anything with this right now. If it ends up rallying back up, great. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to wait for it to drop out to here, and then I'll probably take along. I'm not interested in selling Bitcoin in any fashion here, nor really taking on longs. I'm kind of waiting for this thing to hit the next desirable levels. Kind of like yesterday, we let it sell down into VWAP, then we're looking long, nice bounce. Now, kind of waiting for that to do something I would like. Mm, I forgot to. Sorry, I forgot to add this note here that we did take some LZB, but that was right at the open, so or going into the open or whatever. So dang it, didn't capitalize that. Oh yeah. Let me bring up my biggest gainers list, see if anything cool has changed. Looks like the market's probably still going up. I'm not even looking at the SPY, but I can bet it's going up because they just put in another green candle in the Magnificent Seven. So let's see. SPY, 1 minute. Oh, it's still going up. What are the odds? Hasn't really pulled back. Pushed another green candle. Not much, but again, you can literally just look, right? Magnificent Seven going up. Market still grinding. But anyways, KZIA just being an absolute turd. STEC. I mean, I see why they're kind of holding STEC, but I don't know. I just don't know. Is that going to be the one where they hold it and don't let it go to support? I don't know. I don't know. Hey, let's go. UPRO coming back green, baby. Let's go. So pretty much all those dips, which was only two that I bought into the market over the past couple of days, finally going green. So that's cool. Yeah, the other day I bought some on that low, and then I think it was yesterday I bought into like right about like right there when the market started to recover a bit, and with that average down, I've now gone green, so that's cool. Not in the buy signal yet, so I'm not really cheering about too much, but position's starting to go green, so that's cool. Hmm. Hmm. What about this guy? What about you? Are you gonna do something cool today? Kind of missed the support tag a bit. Hmm. I don't know why I just cannot pull the trigger. I mean, it's just, I mean, I guess it has, it's more a sell signal. These things are just garbage, so probably just wait. I mean, you could take on the risk, but you already know it's going to be better when you don't. Let's see. That was, mm. Super busy chat this morning, super busy. Good morning, everyone. Really glad you guys talk a bunch. It's always makes streaming fun. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of looking at EPWK. I don't really know exactly how I feel about it. It's kind of above support. I mean, we'll see. It might be something to keep your eye on. Like, again, definitely having to search far and wide right now, it seems, for anything that's even relatively decent. FRGT is just going up, but nah, doesn't really, never really got back to support. Yeah, so this is another one here, EPWK, where again, it's pretty straight. It's the same setup every single time that I talk about, literally. So you can basically see this morning it broke up and over 50 SMA in the 30 minute. We pulled back, we bounced, and now we're maintaining above. So in the event the market wants to manip this one higher, it could, but again, we'll see. It just depends. You don't control the market, but this one is above support. So, support's like $1.64. So as long as we're over that, this thing's like okay, arguably. Let me double check the 4 hour. Uh, right here. Would you freaking? So this one's kind of I don't want to say it's garbage, but it's a situation where we've already broken out the 30-minute, ran to the 4 hour, now pulled back to the 30 minutes. So this isn't in like a full blown uptrend. It's kind of shisty, arguably. So we'll see if this thing gets lucky and gets picked up or not. But I mean, that's pretty much it. As long as it maintains the 30-minute, it's okay. If it doesn't, that's where things arguably starts to fall apart some. So we're basically going to see if this market wants to. Again, we exploded up to the 4 hour. We've now pulled the market back to the 30-minute. We kind of bounced it here and then back here. And so that's pretty much it. It needs to get picked up from here, or else ultimately below would be kind of like failure, right? So that's pretty much what we're following there on EPW. Okay. EPW. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay. I'm good. Oh yeah, you know what? Should actually bring up VRA real quick because this is the one that we obviously were involved on yesterday, and I don't know, maybe someone was still involved on it. So this is a stock that we suggested yesterday for a long, if you will. Let me just kind of, I don't really need to delete everything, I guess. So this is the one we suggested for a long. I'm not holding it, just did it for a day trade myself. Um, okay, I'm just gonna delete all that off because that's just getting on my nerves. Yeah, so VRA, again, long story short, we recommended going pretty much you're gonna long this one yesterday. So same thing as always, right? So stock entered an uptrend, support was like 260 something, like 263, basically the yellow line, watch long. And from this morning, it jumped up 44% from pretty much where we had suggested. Now, granted, I just traded for a day trade, got 10% on it. If I would have kept something on and swung traded, then yeah, this morning I would have had an opportunity for a 44% gain, but didn't. Doesn't really matter. There's going to be many more stocks that continue to do the same thing. So, anyways, that was yesterday's recommendation, essentially. Um, so that worked out and continued to work out through the overnight session. So, cheers to that. Bitcoin up to, I don't know, some 2K or whatever. Or, yeah, 62,000. Or 62,000, 92,000. Is that 62,000? That would be a little scary. Yeah, what ends up happening is as I've gotten older, I just don't like leverage as much, and every time I try to go back to trading kind of leverage items, I do okay for a little bit, and then I kind of seem to struggle. So I guess as I've just gotten older, I kind of like the more tame, not trying to make a killing anymore. I mean, I've had my good moments and my bad moments, that's for show. But yeah, whenever I go to trading options, now if I did some longer term stuff, it probably wouldn't be as bad, I guess you could say, or like nervousness or whatnot. But as I've gotten older, I just don't seem to do as well with leverage stuff. Like even futures, like I'll do okay with some futures. But I don't know, just something about the leverage items and seeing my P&L move so fast these days as I gotten older, I just don't really care for it as much. It's just not something I like, unfortunately. Now I wish that wasn't the case because yeah, I'd be able to make a little bit more money, but yeah, I just never seem to do as good with leverage stuff. Now, granted, UPRO is still leverage, but it's only 3x, so it's not so much that it's like, you're watching your P&L shift like crazy. So I just tend, can't say I'll like never trade an option. I mean, I still do some options here and there, but it's just, again, I no longer wake up on the day and just try to force making money. It felt like that was kind of my thing for a while, especially when I was after losing, if you will, after I fell off my high horse, if you will. It seemed like I was just kind of like chasing wins, trying to get back to that, hitting big wins, and it worked until it didn't work, right? And then over the years, I just kind of settled down and just kind of went back to just more conservative trading, more conservative investing, and life's been pretty good ever since. So, never know. Maybe if I grow my account super big again, maybe I'll start doing some dumb shit. But until then, probably not. Um, and like that's the thing is like, for example, I was able to buy UPRO, throughout this drop, bought some there, right? Not enough to like, make serious dough, but it's like if I was buying options on that low and then it's going down 40%, I'd probably get a little bit more nervous, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's been really easy for me just to manage like 3x ETFs because it's just the leverage, right? It's the leverage aspect. So as I got a little older, I'm just not as good at managing that emotion with leverage. Granted, my account's beating the market by 15, 16% this year, so it's like can't really complain. If I did some leverage and traded as good with all the 3x leverage as I did options, then it would be up insane amounts, right? But I didn't do that with this account. This account is a smaller Roth IRA account, but so I'm like the last thing I want to do is like screw up my Roth IRA investment account. It's fine to do it on like a personal, smaller trading account, but I was like, I don't want to mess up my Roth in any shape or form by taking on too much leverage on plays. So I just decided to kind of slow roll it, and sure enough, we're beating the market pretty pretty easily. So I hope that that continues ongoing because if I beat the market by 15% every year, then this account will do just fine. And I won't have many heart attacks every single day. I'll just sit here and giggle at a screen while I stream to 13 people that never talk back to me, and it'll be good. Well, besides, maybe Joe. Oh, older, yeah. I always say older, but older when I'm comparing my 20-year-old self to my 32-year-old self now, and the change has been pretty drastic, if you will, in terms of psychology and, approach to markets. Because again, I was caught up in that whole like YouTube influencer lifestyle, like Lambos, and like really like for a hot moment, it's like, yeah, like I'm gonna do this, like I'm gonna be the best trader in the world, and I'm gonna make millions, and I'm gonna get Lambos and all this shit. And then I realized it's just a marketing scam gimmick that the industry puts out there to get new people to trade. So it got me good. And that sort of marketing scheme, scammy tactic will go on for the end of time. It's never gonna not. It's gonna happen for forever. So, anyways, I kind of saw myself get caught up in that for some years, and then quickly realized like that's not the truth. Granted, I did make some pretty good money trading for a decent period of time, and then gave back a lot of those profits. So, like once I saw that full circle moment, like everything clicked. I'm like, oh, like this is just a big game. It's just a big scheme, right? Get as many people as you can in the door trading, sell them on a lifestyle of Lamborghinis and, working for yourself from home for a couple hours a day. Like it's the perfect schemy, scammy marketing tactic. Um, and when I say the industry, it's literally the industry. The industry loves it. They love some new 20-year-old like I was coming on the block going, you can make a killing doing this, and that's what I thought, but that's really not the reality for most people. So I have essentially become the worst marketer for the stock market industry because anybody that asks me about trading nowadays that isn't already involved, they say don't do it. And say don't trade. Do not trade. It's not worth it. Not worth your time. Because the chances are it's probably not, right? But the fact of the matter is once you're in so deep, you're in deep, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the, yeah. I was gonna say something kind of dumb. Never mind. But yeah, that's basically it. It's like once you've already traded for so many years, at that point, it's like who you are. It's not you're not gonna not do it, right? But if someone was thinking about getting involved, the first thing I would say is no, don't do it, right? So imagine me being the marketer of the stock market day trading industry and going, actually, don't trade, don't do it, right? What's going to happen? Maybe those people won't do it. Then what's going to happen? They're not going to spend commissions at brokers. They don't spend commissions at brokers, then brokers don't get paid, right? And if they're not trying to learn how to trade, then arguably they're not going to go buy some new scanner, right? They're not going to buy the trade idea scanner, right? Or they're not going to buy the options flow scanner or whatever, right? So I am not a good marketer for the industry anymore. So that being said, the industry loves the fresh meat. They love the new beginner, the guy that still thinks that trading is going to get you to like that millionaire status. For a very, very small percentage of people, it will work, but for the majority, even including me, it's not. And I felt the wrath of that by performing really well and then underperforming for a period of time, which then kind of set me back into, okay, yeah, we'll trade, we'll still make some money here and there, but it's just not a game that most people are going to win consistently long term. So over the years, my strategy has gone from aggressive penny stock trading, aggressive short selling trading, then aggressive options trading, aggressive futures trading, and then I kind of over the years realized I am just better at doing a mix of everything patiently and non-aggressively. Um, and that fits a little bit better with my ADD or ADHD brain, which it seems like everyone has now. It just seems like an excuse, but I guess if I really do have it, which I probably do, but I am very fascinated by a lot of things. My attention is drawn to pretty much everything. So it's actually been the opposite for me. So with ADHD, you usually have a hyper focus on anything you really like. That's why when I am doing something I like, I can do it for a very long time, be very focused, very intuitive with it. And I essentially like just go hammer on it, right? But I found out that that doesn't work so well for me when it comes to trading. When it comes to trading, if I get too hyper focused on one instrument or one stock or one thing, that's when all those bad habits start to trickle in where you're like revenge trade something. Like say if you're trading something that doesn't go well, but that's the only thing you're focusing on, then it's like, oh, I'm going to get this back on this play. It's like you don't need to do that, right? So what I've learned that's kind of working better for my personal characteristics and who I really am is that I am a very hyper focused person. I have attention that can be drawn to so many places. I like options, I like futures, I like stocks, I like penny stock, right? I like it all. Now, for the average person trying to trade all of those at one time, it's not going to work. And I don't trade all of those at one time. What I now kind of do is take a step back and I go, okay, like how do I actually want to involve myself for today or not today? Or what stock may I think looks good that I want to involve myself? Did the S&P 500 fall down to a price that I think is worthy of maybe buying some futures on right now? So it's kind of like one of those games where I'm picking and choosing how I want to attack a situation now. Um, and so I'm just kind of finally, after 10 years, I'm kind of settling in, if you will, more so into a comfortable zone of my investing approach. And I've gone through all of them. And I think all of them are great to a certain extent. You just kind of figure out where you sit in that playing field. So so yeah, that's a spiel. I mean, I have a big real estate portfolio now. That's actually where like a lot of my wealth is growing right now is in real estate. It's actually growing faster there than is the stock market, believe it or not. So like, that's another thing is like a lot of my attention now is in real estate too. So, now that I'm 32, which isn't very old, and I've traded pretty much everything on the block. I've come to the conclusion that trading is not my way of getting rich. It's never going to be from here on out. It can be a way to add a little bit of money to my net worth here and there, but I just don't see it that way anymore. Therefore, I can't teach it that way anymore. And anyone teaching it that way anymore, I have to say is wrong, for the most part. And so yeah. Anyways, that being said, I just try to take a calm, patient approach to the market, only involve myself on what I care to involve myself with, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, you know, that being said, 95% of all the people on YouTube are not profitable, um, long term at trading. Hell, probably 97%, honestly. That's not true. I would say like 10% are actually profitable in some fashion or another, whether it be a small profit, a big profit, we probably have about 10%. But as far as like the true gangsters, there's probably 3% of them, one of which is my business partner, Brandon, right? That's why he controls our trading room. I mean, after working with him for so many years, I mean, the dude just does not lose, right? And it's like you see that, you want that for yourself, but it is very challenging still when it comes to trading, right? So he's kind of that great example of someone who has over the years consistently just hammered it out, right? I had some years of consistency, then kind of fell off. He's been on that horse for a very long time, so it's very impressive, and I definitely give him the respect and credit that he deserves in that regard. So that being said, I have never met anyone else that good. There's a couple people in our chat room that we've taught over the years that seem like they're kind of getting there too, even better than me at these days. But yeah, I don't I haven't seen anyone quite that consistent personally, especially in futures. Futures is not futures is a little bit it can be challenging, if you will, with the way the ticks work and the spreads and whatever point dynamic. So, there's that. So again, that's why I say like I don't really watch YouTube videos on trading anymore because they're pretty much just all bullshit, right? That's how I personally feel these days. Um, it's not that they're all bullshit, but it's like the reality is, if you're watching some kid's YouTube video on a bull flag pattern, that shit's not gonna work. If you're watching some kid's like YouTube video on a head and shoulders pattern like that, ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna do it for you, fam. But since it's got 300,000 views, you're gonna think it does. And that's exactly how the industry works, right? So no big deal, just is what it is. So we got our little small community here of 13 people that don't like to actually talk, but that's okay. I apparently attract um, I apparently attract people with language disabilities or speaking disabilities. I don't know how. I don't know what the vibe is I give off, but somehow I attract deaf and mute people. But that's okay. I still love you guys. All right, it's like all my money's going towards three kids, travel, and sports. Like definitely. I started investing like literally as soon as I could at 18, and then kind of fell into trading around 20. Um, Craziest thing is my first year of trading, I made a profit of I think it was like 45,000 or it was 60,000, anywhere from 40 to 60. It was something. I think it was 55, maybe it's 54. I could pull up the 1099. But somehow I think I got pretty lucky and actually made like money the first real year I tried to trade, right? There was the years of kind of like learning a little bit, but like the first actual year I'm doing this, I actually made money, which was kind of crazy. So I kind of fell into that like trap of like, oh, this is easy. Like anyone can do this. I just did this in pretty much my first year. Beginner's luck, apparently. Granted, I still did pretty well after that, but then it was like 4, 5, 6 years in. It was like, okay, and maybe it's just the stress builds up and sitting in front of a computer every day. Who knows, right? So, just find what you like, find what how you want to involve yourself in the market and you go from there. Nowadays, really, the whole streaming and trading and everything, it's really just all about, trying to teach people this system, right? So, like, this is the one system I follow. I'll probably follow for the rest of my life. So it's nowadays just about teaching, one system I like, trying to emphasize that trading is not easy. Trading is essentially dangerous. Trying to be that. the opposing argument in the space, which is not sell you on Lambos, not sell you on lifestyle, sell you on reality, sell you on you should not look at trading as your escape line. You should look at trading as more of a hobby, secondary option for maybe getting a little money here and there and padding your retirement account. Or say you make 500 bucks today trading something, you should take, $300 of that and go put that in your Roth IRA, in the S&P, in VTI, in VU, in a real estate investment trust, etc. Trading is just a way for you to not risk a lot of money, hopefully make a decent return and move that to your long-term foundation. That's really kind of how I see things. That's why nowadays my trading accounts are not my big accounts. My big accounts are all my long-term investing, all my real estate portfolio, or Bitcoin, which arguably is kind of risky. So, take that with however you want to take that. Right. So, arguably the worst thing that the industry can do is give me a big voice on YouTube so that I can tell everyone to stop trading, right? And just be smarter about your investing. That's not going to sell a lot of prop firm accounts. That's not going to sell a lot of courses. That's not going to sell a lot of stock scanners. That's not going to sell a lot of new open brokerage accounts. It's not going to sell a lot of commission, folks, right? So, you know. I'm hoping one day they'll take their hand off my or let the leash off, but again, I don't think they will. I think they'll keep me in this little isolated corner of the internet for the foreseeable future. Unless I go rent a Lamborghini today and find a beautiful woman off of Craigslist to advertise with me that make millions, billions. Get your Cuban link bracelets and chains. Um, That's how it's done, folks. Now, if I were to do that and sell my soul, then I probably could do just fine like that. But we ain't gonna do that no more. It's kind of is like I basically did sell my soul at one point unknowingly, right? I was basically that YouTube influencer day trading, make a bunch of money, which I did for a period of time, right? So it's like unknowingly I was just kind of fell into that space of marketing and influencing, right? And my soul was sold, and then my soul was not sold, and here we are. YouTube streams got DDoS and all this weird shit, right? So that being said, that's enough of that. So for those of you watching, love you. Go to the doctor or a speech therapist and see if you have an issue, because for some of you, I think you might. Or at least you're scared of a keyboard. You think that the keys that you click on are going to stab your little fingertips. Every time you go to click the button and say good morning, it goes, ah, my finger, it hurt. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. 91,200. No big deal. We already know it's in a bear market. SPY doing everything we said it was going to do today. No big deal. See, like that's crazy. Regular trading hours. So we're still below the 30-minute 50 SMA. So market is not in a buy signal. The market is still bearish. And so this is a great example of I don't know what's going to happen, but two things can happen. Only. Market can only go up. It can only go down. So really the options are for the market is we either stay below 50 SMA and we stay in the bear market, or we get above the 50 SMA and we go long. That's really it. Those are the two options. Now, I know you'd rather go listen to some kid on YouTube and tell you, Donald Trump is flying to Ukraine and Putin and Xi Jinping are going to throw an AI chip simulator in the Air Force One and the Ukraine and the oil and then the government shut down and oh my gosh, we have COVID-19 coming back. No, stop it. Stop listening. Stop it. It's dangerous. Dangerous to listen to that. Oh, did anything happen to anything today? Like KZIA just basically doing nothing. FRGT up to $1.15. Like I said, like the only way to involve ourselves on that stock today, you just either had to buy it and hope it keeps going up, or you got to wait for a pullback. So, and it's pretty much done nothing. I mean, it's opened up, it went a little higher, but again, not really doing anything special there to write home about. And aside from that, I don't really see. I mean, there's a couple other random things moving, but yeah. 10:31. We got some more minutes here. I mean, honestly, it's not even like I need to be here. You guys pretty much already know everything, to be honest. I mean, you should at this point. I mean, it's the same 13 people every single day, so it's not like we're teaching anyone new. Hence the point. The market and the industry don't want me teaching anyone new. You know what I mean? At least I think. But I mean, once you're a popular YouTube influencer at one point, get knocked off the platform, and then you come back and you realize that you're really just teaching better than you ever have been before, but somehow you're not seeing the same growth. It's like, I see what's going on. But that's okay. I'm just here trying to save a couple souls along the way, and if YouTube is generous enough to allow me to do so, then awesome. You know, if the baby Lord Jesus wants me to help redeem some souls from the trading world, then I am here to serve. But the gatekeepers are in the way, my lord. Oh no, Bitcoin, why did it go down? Oh no. It must be because people are short selling MSTR. Michael Saylor, no. Like, dur, bruh. Dur. Dude should probably put me on his team and start paying me millions of dollars a year because I could have told him this was going to happen 3 years before it happened. But here we are, not employed by Michael Saylor's company, just sitting in my office in my sweatpants. You know, the life. Could be working as a remote consultant for MSTR, and I could have saved him billions, but no, but no. Oh, let me guess. We're gonna pop out at about 33 views. What are the odds? The old 33 number always seems to follow, even though I don't want it to. Yeah, again, I wish there was something exciting to say. There isn't. If Bitcoin drops down to 87,243, then we can look to long Bitcoin. Whether that be futures, maybe some MSTR, maybe some IBIT. So again, that's a trade that's just not happened yet, but we're just sitting waiting. You know, the last time we sat and we waited to buy a bounce in the downtrend of Bitcoin, it was right here. Granted, we used MSTR, and there was our long. Not bad. So the next one that I'll be looking for is down here, right there, long. Now, why not short? Because I don't know if it's going to go down to that level, and I don't know if it's going to go up to that level in the immediate. It will do it at some point, so now I'm just kind of waiting for it to go to the next level, and then I will interact. I don't want to be the one to guess which level it's going to go to first. I'd rather be the one that interacts when it reaches said level. Mm, 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 mm. Also, I'm sure you guys already figured it out that Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, the market has gone up to that next volume weighted average price we said it would probably go to once it got acceptance, blah, 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 blah. As it always is. So anchor VWAP, start of sell signal down, market goes to sell signal. We talked about the market going long to that level on that same day. Then it had resistance. We anchored to here. Now we talk about the market going long to this level today. So essentially, we have predicted the top of the two big counter trend targets for the market so far. congratulations. It's very easy. You just track the previous trader's volume, extrapolate it, move it forward into the future. Market will come back to it at some point. Super easy. Um, so easy that they don't tell you that on CNBC. All right. And yeah, market's still bearish as far as the market signaling goes. Let's take a look at the volatility index, though. The VIX broke down the 15-minute little knee-jerk reaction. So that means the volatility index is going to bounce back up to about $22.92, $23 probably. So, you guys know this rule. We tell it to you all the time. Again, markets can only go down and they can only go up. So what happened here? The market went down. It broke through the 50 SMA on the 15 minutes. So that's a 15-minute downtrend. So the market can break down, keep going, or generally speaking, it's going to go back to where? The 15 minutes. So that's really its main option, unless it caught resistance prior to, and that's always possible and blah, blah. But if you just think about it simply, the simplest version you can always think of is markets go down, go up, they break out and back test. So this is a breakdown and arguably bouncing back up to there. That will be the back test and the confirmation of the 15-minute down. All right. So yeah, that's that. And of course, all of my other screens are gone. Love it, love it, love it. Ugh. Well, to be honest, probably gonna end the stream here because there's really not a lot to say. I'm not doing anything. I'm not buying anything really today. Not really trading a whole lot. Just waiting for our next long signal. Hopefully it's soon. Only bought LZB today. And yeah, that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So I will catch you guys back tomorrow morning, bright and early, for probably the same scenarios.